Now that we've done so much hard work on building out our register form, working on our login component is going to be very straightforward. We can grab a lot of the code from register. In fact, I'd highly recommend just going up to the top of the return and copying everything down to the bottom, including the success dialog. So once you've copied everything, you can head to login.js within auth. You can uncomment all of these components and then replace the div with the code that we just copied. Now, the first thing you'll want to do is you'll need to remove the success dialog. We won't have a success dialog when a user logs in successfully. The next thing will be to head briefly back to register and copy both the mutation and GQL imports that we had there and paste them up at the top of login. We want login to also have access to set new user to conditionally display either the login or the register components. So we'll head back to index.js and make sure that set new user is passed as a prop to login as well as register. Then you'll want to save that. Then back in login, we'll want to have two pieces of state here, one piece of state for the username and another piece of state for the password. So make sure to import once again useState from React. Then you can head back to register and copy both the username piece of state, that whole useState call, as well as the password piece of state. Within our markup, instead of having this gavel icon, we can replace it with a lock component for a lock icon. Our typography component will have the variant title, and it's going to have the text login as existing user. We'll take care of the mutation in just a second. For now, you can remove the email that's passed to variables. You can remove the onCompleted. You can go back to register and copy the handle submit and paste it above your return. And then heading down, we can remove the email form control component entirely. We can leave the username and password form controls. For the submit button, we're going to change the color to primary, and we can remove the not email.trim condition, leaving just not username and password. For our loading ternary, we can have the text be logging in and login. And then our other button will have the text new user question mark register here, where the color will be secondary, and within the onClick we're going to set new user to true. And finally we'll have our error component at the end, so we need to make sure that we're importing error just like we did within register. So make sure to add that statement. Now as for our mutation, remember that to generate a JSON Web Token, we used the token auth mutation. So if we open our Apollo DevTools, we can look at token auth once again, and it takes a username and a password. So we can write it once again here within graphical. It'll be a mutation. We have to declare our username and password variables. Remember that they're both of type string and required. Then the name of the mutation's token auth, pass in our username and password values to their arguments, and we get back a simple token. So for our query variables, provide a valid username and password, and when we hit the play button, and make sure that you write this properly. I made an error. So when you execute this, you should hopefully get your JSON Web Token. Now we can copy our token auth mutation, and let's add it once again at the bottom, and we'll call this our login mutation, again using GQL. paste that in. Then we'll pass in login mutation to the mutation prop. And now instead of create user being our mutation function, it's going to be token auth. So we'll pass through token auth to our handle submit function, and we'll rename create user token auth here as well. So if we add back on completed and get our data from a successful mutation, when we save login, we can first of all, it looks like I made an error, line 26. Forgot to add the parentheses correctly. When we save login.js and we navigate there, we see our form. If we open up our console and try logging in with the right values and hit login, we should again get a data object with token auth on it and our JSON Web Token. In the next video, we'll take a look at what to do with this JSON Web Token to actually authenticate our users, and upon authenticating them, change their view.